Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks for tuning back into episode 17 of the No Fire podcast every Thursday, wherever you like to listen or watch YouTube, Spotify, Google us. We're on there somewhere. You can find it. I believe in you all. For all 7 of you, 5 of you, however many there are. 4 people that consistently listen. I see you out there. Anyways, this past week I was thinking about like fond memories from my childhood, and one thing from school that I was thinking about, did you guys have any weird rules in school that just seemed like, looking back on it, you're like, why was that a thing?
I mean, the not being able to wear tank tops, I thought was weird.
I didn't even think about like dress code stuff.
Like shorts, okay, I get it. You don't want your shorts to be too short, but like we couldn't wear tank tops. We couldn't have anything that showed our collarbone. And I'm like, who was getting excited about collarbones in high school?
Yeah, I don't know. Tank tops seem weird to me. I can understand like really short shorts, stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like that was more of an issue in middle school. I remember, let me know if you remember this too. In one of my classrooms, there was a stoplight at the front, and the stoplight monitored the sound of the classroom, and if it would go from green to yellow to red depending on how loud we were getting. And if it would reach red, then we'd have to do like 5 minutes of silence. And they would utilize it during times where we're allowed to talk, but they didn't want us to be too loud. Did you guys ever have that?
No.
I specifically remember it in one of my classrooms in elementary school, and then I also remember it in the middle school lunchroom as well. They had a big one on a stand in the lunchroom.
What school did you go to?
I went to Carwise Middle.
Nope. I went to Oak Grove, so.
Well, yeah, I know we didn't go to the same middle school.
I know, they're not like extremely far from each other.
Yeah.
So it's just strange.
Well, I know it was in other places because I've heard people talk about it.
Maybe it was in my school and I don't remember it, but I don't remember that.
I remember it. I remember just thinking that it was a weird way to determine. I mean, maybe it was more accurate than the teacher just listening and deciding we were getting too loud.
Okay.
It was weird. I definitely thought it was weird. Did you guys have the Scholastic Book Fair?
Yes.
That was, I feel like, a highlight from school.
Yeah.
I always got super excited whenever the book fair was coming and they would hand out the catalog, and then you would have to like attach a check to it to bring in to like get whatever you wanted to order or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember never getting anything from the book fair. I'm sure my parents would have been fine with buying me books, but I wanted like
the erasers and the pencils and the fun stuff.
Do you remember the pencils that came in like the cylinder that were like fuzzy and had scents to them?
I don't remember those specifically.
Not the markers, they were pencils. And they had all these different scents, and they came in like one big cylinder, and then they were in individual little tubes by themselves.
No, I don't remember that.
I remember other kids getting them because I'm sure my mom was like, this is not necessary. You don't need this.
Bookmarks for books I never wanted to read. Those are all the things that I wanted. Like like not like actual books to read, like activity books. Those are the things that I wanted.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like even looking back on it now, like maybe I wanted those activity books, but I don't even know if I would have really used them.
I probably wouldn't have, but
I don't know.
Instant gratification.
Maybe I was just more excited about the idea of buying stuff at school rather than like a store.
I mean, I feel like I'm still that way as an adult. I get excited about the idea of being organized or anything that makes me feel organized, like planners. I can't stick to a planner for the life of me.
Yeah.
Like I try. I put my appointments in it and I try to stay up on it, but like there's just something about it that I can't stay faithful to, but I love the idea of new markers, new pens, like any, like I have a stapler in the office for what? I don't need a stapler, but it was gold and it was aesthetically pleasing.
Well, a stapler will come in handy eventually.
Yeah, but I haven't bought staples for it, so it's just sitting there.
Well, then it's just like a paperweight.
It's literally a paperweight for vinyl.
I'm the same way with like organized type stuff. Like I used the calendar in the back room for a very short amount of time. Like when I did use it, I was happy that I was using it, crossing things off when I got things done, and I was like, oh, I like this. I like being organized and feeling productive and being able to like mark things off.
Yeah.
And I just stopped using it for whatever reason. I don't know why. The same way with like a workout planner. I want to like track my workouts, the weights and sets and reps and everything, and I just never get around to it. And I don't know why.
It's hard to stick to stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe I'm just a procrastinator. It's in my nature. All right, well, we can jump into the relationship corner. If you guys have never watched our podcast, we do a section of the podcast that is dedicated to relationship advice, questions, scenarios, all the above. We talk about it, give our opinion, and yeah, the relationship corner. So this week, I have a Reddit post to read, but first, we'll talk about a little bit more of a serious relationship topic, and then the Reddit post is slightly comical in my opinion. So we'll talk about this one first. So, how do you feel about opposite sex friends?
I don't really know.
I feel like it's...
What are we doing with these friends?
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's going to be scenario based, and I feel like a lot of it has to do with who the people are. Like,
I agree with
for me,
that.
example, if I have a female friend, like, who is this person? Have you met her? Do we hang out together? Do we hang out separately? What is the scenario? Because there is a point at which I'm hanging out with a female friend, and it might just that might be weird.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't even know her and we're just hanging out one-on-one.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be okay with that.
But yeah, I feel like there's certain scenarios that an opposite sex friend might make your partner feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are opposite sex friends that wouldn't make your partner feel uncomfortable. Like, I would never feel uncomfortable about you hanging out one-on-one with Phil.
Yeah.
But I've also known Phil for almost 10 years.
Yeah. Phil's also Phil.
Yeah. So I think there's scenarios where it's totally fine, and there's some scenarios that aren't, and you kind of have to communicate with your partner about that other person.
Yeah.
Why do you want to hang out with them? Like, what's the
How do you
nature of
know
the
them?
relationship? What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
I think it's all about communication in that aspect.
I agree.
But I think it's fine to have opposite sex friends.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a problem with that. And I think there are scenarios where you can probably hang out one-on-one. But if it makes your partner uncomfortable, then maybe you need to figure something else out.
Yeah.
Incorporate your partner in some way, or incorporate other friends in some way, so that it doesn't become a more intimate setting, I guess, for whatever plans or whatever you're doing.
I agree.
All right, well, I'll read the Reddit post.
Read it to me.
All right, here we go. How can I, 31 male, get my wife, 30 female, to be okay with nudity in shows? We usually try to avoid shows that obviously might have sexual or nudity scenes. But recently, when we both watched The Three Body Problem on Netflix, we didn't know there was a scene with some female nudity, and my wife got extremely angry at me when I didn't turn off the show fast enough. Now, we've had this problem for a while, and I know the reason this happened is because she was sexually cheated on really bad in her previous relationship, and so anytime there's an attractive or hot female body, she will try to make me look away. While I'm personally fine with avoiding the shows, I'm not a huge TV consumer in any way, a little part of me feels like I may have missed out on really good shows, like Game of Thrones, etc. How can we try to work together to resolve this together? Or do I need to come to a consensus to live with this for the rest of my life?
Well, obviously we don't live by that rule.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is one of my favorite TV shows.
Yeah, we've watched it start to finish, or start to wherever we're at now.
She seems like the type of person that would get really upset if she found out her boyfriend was watching porn.
I feel like a lot of girlfriends get mad about that.
I agree, but I think she would take it as like cheating.
No,
Yeah.
100%.
She doesn't even
Especially-
let him see like a TV show that has nudity in it. You guys can't go to movies. Most movies, adult movies anyways.
But that's what I mean. Is like, how do you plan for stuff like that? Like how, like I guess movies have like warnings with the nudity.
Yeah, but is that reasonable?
No, I mean to me, I don't think that I would be comfortable in a relationship like that. I mean, I would never restrict what you watch.
It's just like a next level of insecurity.
Yeah.
I get that it stems from being cheated on,
Mm-hmm.
but you also can't carry everything from your previous relationships into your new relationships, or else you're gonna ruin the relationship with your own insecurities.
I agree.
It's just gonna create more problems.
Yeah.
And if it's to the level where you guys can't watch The 3-Body Problem on Netflix, then it's a serious issue.
I didn't even remember there was nudity in it, honestly.
I don't remember there being nudity in it either. I just remember enjoying watching the show.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. He's missing out on Game of Thrones. Yeah. He ain't watching House of the Dragon.
He definitely ain't watching House of the Dragon.
He missing out.
There was another one, Vikings.
Oh, yeah. All these great television shows. The good ones have nudity. That's just how it is.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I feel like a lot of the shows we watch have nudity in it, and it's not like we're like, let's go find a show that has a bunch of naked bitches in it. Like,
yeah, we're not seeking that out. And if he had that behavior, then that would be like a problem.
Right. But he didn't turn the TV off fast enough.
Yeah, it just seems a little wild to me that's even a problem.
Do you remember when you were a kid and your parents would say earmuffs?
I used to just close my eyes.
Goggles. Don't watch. Goggles.
Yeah, I don't know. That just seems childish to me.
Yeah, I feel like that's
too far.
That's just like an unnecessary fight to have.
Yeah, I agree. I remember a topic that I was going to talk about for the school thing.
Mm.
I think that's where the topics came from. Well, that was the red light, green light, yellow light thing that stemmed from. But did you have a favorite subject in school?
I did. Do you want to guess?
Science?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nail on the head.
I think here's the thing. For the most part, I enjoyed most subjects in school. I think I enjoyed history the most, but I was the best at math.
Mm.
So I would always, if somebody asked me, like, what's your favorite subject, I would say math, because I was always just naturally good at it. And not that I enjoyed it, but it was just easier to me than the other subjects were.
History was rough for me.
History was enjoyable to listen to and learn about.
Mm-hmm.
I was so bad at geography.
Still bad at geography.
Oh, I'm the worst.
Both of us.
Don't ask me about anything outside of the United States, because I am just, even inside the United States, which makes me sound really stupid. I'm not.
I promise.
Every other subject I was pretty good at. Reading and writing, I was good at, but not exceptional.
I was good at it until I had to read out loud.
Yeah, same.
I hated reading out loud. I'd like count the people in front of me
Popcorn
and see what I had to read. Oh, that's like a random one?
My heart would start racing.
Popcorn, they pick a random person?
Yeah.
Don't like that.
Hate it.
We always did it in in order. Like you'd read
Mm-hmm.
a paragraph or whatever, and then you'd be, so I'm like, all right, how many people are in front of me? And then I'm like reading my paragraph over and over again until like I had to speak it out loud, because I just struggled over like reading it like went into my head one way, but when it came out of my mouth, it didn't come out the right way. I don't fucking know.
No, I totally hear you. I totally hear you. So in 5th grade, we were reading, I want to say it was a science book or a little excerpt, and they were talking about a processing plant going from peanuts to peanut butter. And my best friend at the time, Jimmy, I'm pretty sure we were doing popcorn reading, and he got chosen, and he meant to say peanut butter, but he said penis butter.
That was it.
And I felt so bad for him, because if I did something like that, I know how embarrassed I would be.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, like,
Not a big deal.
it's funny. It's
Yeah.
funny to think about, but as a 5th grader, you're just like, that's the end of the world right there.
You're embarrassed in front of the whole class.
I remember the teacher like making sure it was okay, and kind of like being like, "Oh, I remember one time when I was reading and blah blah blah." And so she was like, she was a really good teacher.
Good.
It's Miss Fanning.
I like that.
Yeah, real sweet lady.
Real sweet.
But yeah, school.
That's where my anxiety began and grew.
Same.
High school was pretty rough for me. Like, not like just anxiety wise, like I wanted to be social and wanted to have friends, but like I also would get so overwhelmed in like group settings, and I didn't know why. Like, I loved going to the games to watch basketball or the football games, but I would get what I now know is overstimulated, but I would be so overwhelmed because there's so much going on around me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I struggled with that all throughout high school. It wasn't until later in life that I figured it out.
It was really bad for me to have to present something in front of the class. I don't think I've ever asked you. Do you have a favorite job that you've had?
No.
No? None of them were less worse than the others?
Oh. Like, In Nowhere was the coolest place that I've worked.
What is it?
It's called In Now Wear.
Okay.
INNOW. Like, In Now was one word, and wear, like clothing. Actually, my first boss and I had the same birthday. Both
cool.
February 3rd. His name is Danny. Super cool. His parents owned the furniture store next door. They opened up a clothing store attached to the furniture store, but like still separate. Yeah, and some like kids from my high school that I hung out with used to hang out there after school, which is how I found out about it. And then, I don't know, got the job working there.
What did you do there?
Sold clothes. And then we got tanning beds at one point, so I tried to sell tanning memberships. But I was young. I was 17. My mom was still alive at the time. I was working there when my mom died, actually. And like that family, like they helped me up after all of that.
Yeah.
They were awesome. They still are awesome. I haven't seen them in a while, but more so like the job was chill, but the like family dynamic, like that was probably the most like family oriented place I've ever worked at.
That's cool.
They made me feel like a part of their family, and they were Hispanic, so I was like,
yeah,
the Diaz family. Yeah, I love them, and I loved that job. It was easy.
Yeah. You have to like stock stuff, or you literally just did the register?
I did the register, and I did like the folding of like the clothes and stuff to put it out, and we had like colored skinny jeans, like it was all very like hip clothing. A lot of colored skinny jeans, any color you could think of, because it was so big.
Yeah.
We had Vans that we sold in the store. There's other sneakers that we sold, but tank tops, t-shirts, men and women's clothes, bathing suits.
Did you get a discount there?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that your first job?
My very first job.
So your first job was your favorite job?
Yeah.
So was mine.
The pizza delivery?
Yeah, I worked at this place called Sands Pizzeria, and I delivered pizzas there. So what I would do is I would wash dishes until there was a delivery, and they had a dish machine, so it wasn't really washing dishes. I was putting stuff on a rack, sending it through a machine, and then stacking it and bringing it to wherever in the restaurant they needed it. And I would, this is back when I smoked a lot of weed, so I'd have a bowl packed in my car, go for the delivery, chill, listen to music, deliver the pizza. And it was in Eastlake, so it was a really bougie area. You always got good tips there.
Nice.
I would work like 20 hours a week and probably make like $300 to $400 in tips.
That's nice.
And then I'd get a paycheck too. I got paid minimum wage plus tip, which it was like $7 an hour back then, but
still.
Yeah. But yeah, it was super chill. But the owners was this Jewish family. His name was San, and then his wife Jackie and their daughter all worked there. And he was kind of honestly, all of them were kind of strict,
Mm-hmm.
but they were cool at the same time. The one of my favorite things about the pizza was really good there, and you would get a slice for $1 every shift that you worked,
Mm-hmm.
and you could have free soda too. So I would get a slice of pizza and have a soda for $1 every time I went there. That was like, my
Perfect.
dinner every night. Yeah. Do you have a least favorite job?
I didn't. I don't want to say my least favorite, but it was like tied between Leroy Summons and Ozona Blue.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like either of those places.
Why is that?
The owner of Ozona wasn't very friendly towards me. And I don't know, just Leroy Summons also got bought out while I was working there. So they became Glory Days,
Yeah.
which was a whole nother battle. I was already having issues with the managers there. So what about you? What's your least favorite job?
Probably when I worked at Pizza Hut. Because I worked in
Ooh.
the back, so I'd have to answer the phones, work the fryer, and make pizzas all at the same time.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, and I was 17, something like that. I wasn't delivering pizzas there. I was just working in the back for $8 an hour, slaving away. Because back then, this was probably 2014, a lot of people called. Most people did not place orders online.
Yeah.
It was more through phone than anything.
Yeah.
It was busy.
I'm sure. That sounds stressful.
It was stressful.
Just to be split between all those different duties.
And when it was, like a weekend, you would have more people working in the back than just one person. But there would be days during the week where it would just be you. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this well enough.
Yeah, for real.
I only worked there for 6 months. It was pretty rough.
That
And,
didn't
like,
last long.
Everybody that worked there was super cool, but it was just the job itself that was rough. Just working way too hard for not enough money. And yeah, but there was a really big perk for working there. So you could have a shift meal for free. You got a pan pizza. You would take the pan pizza and you could stretch it out to like a medium-sized pizza and just make yourself whatever you wanted. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be half off. I don't remember ever paying for it, though.
That's funny. All the pizza you can eat.
Yeah, pretty much.
That sounds delightful now.
And the manager would always make like a shift pizza, too. Just make something like weird.
That's a good manager. Sorry, I didn't mean to kick you.
Yeah. Yeah, really nice people, but shitty job for sure.
No, thank you.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in to episode 17 of the No Fire Podcast. You can watch us every Thursday on YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify. Check us out on Instagram at No Fire Pod or TikTok at No Fire Podcast. We'll see you guys next week.